Hi, I'm Reverend Jake Sabe, and welcome to Children's Bible Stories. Alright children, our Bible story for today is going to be the story of Jacob's dream, and joining with me today is my helper, acolyte Hezekiah.
Hello.
Alright, Hezekiah, so to start off our story, what was Jacob doing?
Running away from Esau because Esau was planning to kill him.
Yeah, and so he left Beersheba and he was running off to Haran. And as he was going, it became nighttime. And Jacob was tired. And there wasn't anywhere around the place to make a nice comfy bed. So, what did he sleep on instead, Hezekiah?
A rock.
Yeah, Jacob found a rock. Actually, the text said he went to sleep on a bunch of rocks. And this is something important that Martin Luther mentions in his Genesis commentary, that there was a Jewish tradition that originally said Jacob had gathered up 3 rocks to sleep on, and when he woke up, there were 1 rock. And the reason they say that is because when Jacob goes to sleep, it says he takes one of the rocks, plural, and sleeps on them, and then when he wakes up, it talks about him sleeping on the rock, singular. And so there was a Jewish tradition that says that he originally had 3 rocks, and when he woke up, there was only 1 rock, that the 3 rocks had fused together. And Martin Luther said that he doesn't know if this story is true or not, but if it is, he likes it as a good representation of the Holy Trinity. So Hezekiah, as Jacob was dreaming, what did he dream about?
A ladder.
And where was the ladder going?
Up to heaven.
Yeah. And what was going up and down on the ladder?
Angels.
Yeah, the angels were going up and down, ascending and descending on the ladder. And Hezekiah, who was at the top of the ladder?
Door.
Yeah. The Lord spoke to Jacob from the top of the ladder, and he said, I am the Lord, the God of Abraham your father, and the God of Isaac. The land on which you lie I will give to you and your offspring. Your offspring shall be like the dust of the earth, and you shall spread abroad to the west and to the east, and to the north and to the south, and in you and your offspring shall all the families of the earth be blessed. Behold, I am with you, and will keep you wherever you go, and will bring you back to this land, for I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you. And so this then was God now giving Jacob directly the Abrahamic promise. So we talked about in previous videos how God had given the promise to Abraham that he would have numerous offspring, and that through that offspring the nations of the world would be blessed. And that Abraham had passed this on to Isaac, that God had promised Abraham that it was through Isaac that this promise would be fulfilled. And that God had told Rebekah, when the children were still in her womb, that the younger would be served by the older. And then later, Esau sold this birthright blessing to Jacob for a bowl of stew, and then later Jacob stole that blessing from Esau. And now God was coming to Jacob directly to confirm that he had the blessing, that it would be now through Jacob and not Esau that the Messiah would come, that Jacob and his descendants would be God's chosen people. And one last thing, Hezekiah, before we move on with the rest of our story, one last thing. Where else in the Bible do we hear about angels ascending and descending?
The story of Nathaniel.
That's right. When Jesus called Nathanael, he said to him, behold, you'll see greater things than this. You'll see the angels of God ascending and descending on who?
The ladder of Jesus.
That's right. Jesus promised Nathanael that he would one day see the angels ascending and descending on him. And here was Jesus telling Nathanael that he is the ladder to heaven. That if one wishes to get to heaven, they do so not through their own works, but through Jesus. And here in the Old Testament, God gave Jacob the vision of the ladder to heaven, and then followed that up with the promise that through Jacob's offspring, the nations of the world would be blessed. It is through the ladder, the Messiah, that the nations of the world would be blessed. And so God is promising Jacob that if you want to get up to heaven, you want to come up this ladder, that's going to take place through your offspring, the seed, the Messiah, Jesus. It is through him that all peoples will be blessed. And so, as morning came, Jacob woke up and he took the stone, and there he poured some oil on top of it, and he called that place Bethel, which means house of God. And that then, children, is our Bible story for today. I've been your host, Reverend Jake Zabel. Thank you, Hezekiah, for your help. Goodbye and God bless.